Hello, we got a beautiful copy of Transformers number 7 here. Looks like it could be a 9.4, 9.6, 9.8, but we will see once we get it back. But what I wanted to cover in this video is really quick, one specific defect, and that is kind of a crinkling, almost like, it could have been done in printing process, or it could be a defect done by a human. I'm not sure which. It kind of has like a crinkling, almost like many little printer creases. I don't know what else to call it here along the bottom. I'm going to take a picture as well, and I'll show that on the screen. It'll probably show up a little bit better. But you can kind of see it right there along the edge, kind of a crinkling. So I've pressed this book, and it didn't come out. So I think this is a good candidate for using a ball bearing on. And so yeah, that's what this video is going to be about. Now, Rick over at Immaculate Comics was nice enough to send me his Immacu-Ball, which is a small ball bearing that he uses to get defects like this out, dents and such. I have one that I've been using that's quite a bit larger like that, and but I like the smaller one for more detailed defects like this, like a smaller defect, smaller dent, for maybe a larger defect in the book, maybe more in the center, maybe use the larger one, and maybe for the edge near the spine, other hard to reach areas, smaller defects, using the smaller one. So I kind of like that idea of having two. So I really appreciate it, Rick. Thanks for sending me that. I had ordered a chamfered backing board, pressing board, and a couple other things from him. And he was nice enough to send me this. So let's test it out on this defect right here. So let me get this camera situated. I think I'm going to do it like a first person type thing here. Rather than being overhead, you might be able to see better. So let me hang this thing around my neck, and we'll be right back. Okay, so for this video, I'm just going to work on the ones that are right here. It may not show up very well on the camera. You can see it underneath there as well, like a crinkling. And we could probably roll both sides of this page. But what I first do, just in case you're curious, is I set a platform of 3 backing boards underneath, magazine sized. Then I have the SRP paper on top of that. That way when I'm rolling this, I'm not rolling the book underneath, and that gives me a nice stable base with a little bit of give to roll the ball bearing on. You don't want a completely hard surface to roll on. You want to have a little bit of give, otherwise it just won't work as well. Imagine these backing boards are kind of like a shock absorber. And of course I have SRP paper on top. We need 2 elements going for us here before we can permanently remove that defect. We need heat and we need moisture. So I'm going to add a little bit of distilled water, top and bottom here. Then we're going to use the tack iron to heat up the area. Then we're going to hit it with a ball bearing, reevaluate, hit it again. The idea here is to smooth it down, try to get 80%, 90%, and maybe the press will get rid of the rest. But sometimes you can't get 100% of this, but we could certainly get rid of half of it at least, maybe more. Got to be really careful along an edge. We don't want to overdo it. We don't want to get a big waviness to the edge. So we got to walk a fine line here. And I'm kind of a minimalist when it comes to cleaning and pressing. If you've been following my channel, you know that. So I want to do the minimum it takes to get the most results. There's a diminishing return once you get to a certain point. If I tried to get this 100%, I'd probably end up stretching the paper, and we do not want to do that. So to add moisture, I usually just roll a Q-tip. So what I do is I will spray a little bit of distilled water on a makeup pad, and then I will transfer some of that to a Q-tip, like that. Never want it to be saturated. That's not the goal here. We just want to add a little bit of moisture to kind of relax the paper a little bit and allow the heat and the pressure with the tack iron to get the defect out. So I'm going to roll a little bit on the bottom and the top here. Very simple, not much. Doesn't take much. Don't want any excess on there. And I'm going to heat the area. So I'm going to basically be doing this area first. So just going to, no pressure here, just a little bit of heat. The pressure is going to come from the ball bearing. All I'm doing right now is heating the surface. So maybe about 10 seconds, just to get a little bit of heat in there. I have this on the low setting, which is about 180 degrees Fahrenheit, I believe, for my tack iron. And there we go. So then I just turned the tack iron on, so I'm just making sure that some heat is getting transferred. I'm going to kind of Back up a little bit here. Add a little more moisture. I don't think this was heated up all the way. It feels good now though. So we'll do about 10 seconds. Okay. And first time using this, but this is the motion right here. Just basically a rolling. Rick likes to use like a figure eight, and that's fine. I mean, gentle clockwise, counterclockwise, whatever is fine. This is definitely different than using my larger ball bearing, so I've got to get used to it. I'm just going to do this one little corner area here. Let's see if that's made any difference. I didn't use very much pressure there at all. Yeah, it's definitely improved quite a bit, just from that little bit, especially right in this area. Yeah, it's cleaned it up quite a bit. It's probably not going to show up well on camera. Let me go ahead and hit it one more time, and then I'll take a still photo of it so we can get a better idea. A bit more moisture. My lighting needs improved here. Got to get an angle to see where I'm working. It's definitely about right there. Let's work that spot, just this spot. Focus on it. Okay. Tack iron's heated up good now, so I don't need to do any extra. So yeah, just going to hit that. Probably about a pressure of 4 out of 10 on this. Maybe up to a 5. It's just basically a little bit more than the weight of my hand. Okay, let's take a look. That's why he makes that. Okay, yeah, that's infinitely improved. Much, much, much better. So yeah, basically what I do is I hit that spot, then I'll just pick a spot and go up the entire thing until we got it completely done. And I'm going to work the rest of this off camera. It's very difficult to do this with this around my neck, and I don't want to make a mistake here. But you see the process. It's just a general roll, and I definitely recommend this smaller one. I like it. This one actually is a little bit, might be easier to control, but I'm also doing a larger area with that. So I think with practice, this is the better one, the superior one for this type of thing. If this was a large dent, like right in the middle, I would prefer to have this bigger one. And if it's more of like, you'll see a line, like an indentation, I would rather have the small one again, and then work right up that line. For a very large dent though, back to this again. So I guess it just depends on what you're working on, whether you use the large or the small, but yeah, pretty cool stuff. But let me work the rest of this. Talk to you in a minute. You can see that it's cleaned up quite a bit. You can still see it, the faint outline of it. And I think that's just permanent creasing on the paper. There's nothing we can do about that. But I definitely can't feel anything when I rub my finger on it. So that may clean up just a little bit more with the final press. Yeah, very happy with how that came out. Looks much better. Now let's look at the gouge that was on the front of the book. And you can see that it is completely gone. The actual gouge is gone. However, there is like the faintest little hairline color break where it was. If I can, it may not even show. Yeah, you can kind of see it right there. That's where the gouge was. But you have to be looking for it to find it. The actual gouge is just completely gone. But yeah, you can see where it was right there. It's almost like a little scratch, but the actual indentation completely gone. So worked out very, very well.